The Second Boer War, fought between 1899 and 1902, was a pivotal moment in the history of South Africa. It pitted the British Empire, the world's dominant power at the time, against two small Boer republics, the South African Republic, also known as Transvaal, and the Orange Free State. Often overshadowed by other conflicts, the Boer War was a brutal struggle with far-reaching consequences. This wasn't the first clash between the Boers and the British. The First Boer War, a shorter and less well-known conflict, had taken place in 1880 to 1881. The Second Boer War, however, would prove to be a much longer and more devastating struggle, forever shaping the political and social landscape of South Africa. At the heart of the conflict lay a potent mix of economic ambition and political tension. The discovery of vast gold and diamond deposits in the Boer republics in the late 19th century ignited British imperial desires. The prospect of controlling these lucrative resources proved irresistible to the British Empire, already a major player in the region with its Cape Colony. The Boers, descendants of Dutch settlers who had arrived in South Africa in the 17th century, were fiercely independent and protective of their republics. They viewed the influx of British miners and prospectors, known as Uitlanders, with suspicion and resentment. Tensions escalated as the Boers resisted British demands for political rights for the Uitlanders. The main protagonists in this conflict were the British Empire and the two Boer republics. The British Empire, under the leadership of Prime Minister Lord Salisbury, saw the conflict as a way to consolidate its control over southern Africa and secure its vast mineral wealth. The British Army, though initially confident, would soon find itself bogged down in a difficult guerrilla war. The Boer republics, led by figures like Paul Kruger of the Transvaal, were determined to defend their independence and way of life. The Boers were skilled horsemen and marksmen, familiar with the terrain and adept at guerrilla warfare. While significantly outnumbered and outgunned, the Boers were a formidable foe. The Boer War was marked by a brutal combination of conventional warfare and guerrilla tactics. The early stages saw the Boers win a string of victories against the British, who underestimated their tenacity and military prowess. However, as the war dragged on, the British, with their superior numbers and resources, began to gain the upper hand. One of the most controversial aspects of the war was the British use of scorched earth tactics and the establishment of concentration camps. These camps, designed to house Boer civilians, suffered from overcrowding, disease, and malnutrition, leading to the deaths of thousands of women and children. The Boer War finally ended in 1902 with the Treaty of Vereeniging, which saw the Boer republics annexed by the British Empire. The war had a profound and lasting impact on South Africa. The discovery of gold and diamonds and the subsequent influx of British and other European immigrants transformed the region's demographics and economy. The war also sowed the seeds of future conflict. The resentment felt by the defeated Boers, coupled with the ongoing issues of racial inequality and land ownership, laid the groundwork for the apartheid system, which would plague South Africa for much of the 20th century.